Now let's move on to question 2, which is the writer's language and effects question. This question is quite different from the comprehension questions because here the examiner is not testing whether you simply understand the passage. Instead, the examiner wants to know whether you understand why the writer has chosen certain words and phrases, what they suggest, what picture they create in the reader's mind, and what effect they have on the reader. In other words, you have to become a language detective. Whenever you answer these questions, avoid vague statements like it is effective or it makes the writing interesting. Those answers are too general and will not score marks. Instead, always explain what the word means in the context of the passage, what image or idea it creates, what it emphasizes, and how it makes the reader feel. Keep this formula in your mind throughout every writer's language question because it will help you write strong answers. Let's begin with question 2 part A. This question says, read this extract from the text. He felt gravity go to zero. The world stopped. Mo watched the branch of the large redwood approach in slow motion and saw his fingers extend towards it. What does the writer want to suggest to us about the situation at this point in the story? Whenever a question begins by giving you an extract, the first thing you should do is go back to the passage and carefully read the entire extract, not just one sentence. Many students only read the highlighted words and miss the overall idea. This is an inference question, so think about what the writer wants the reader to feel at that particular moment. Since it is worth 1 mark, one clear idea is enough. Make sure you write your answer neatly within the answer lines provided. The answer is, the writer suggests that this is a critical and extremely tense moment where everything depends on whether Mo successfully reaches the branch. Now let's move to question 2 part B. This question asks, explain why the writer uses the word stronger rather than strong in the expression a stronger branch. Notice that the examiner has highlighted only one specific word. That means your focus should be on that word only. Don't explain the whole sentence. Ask yourself why the writer deliberately chose stronger instead of simply saying strong. Think about the comparison the writer is making. This is a language analysis question, so explain the writer's choice rather than giving the dictionary meaning of the word. The answer is, the word stronger suggests that although the branch is safer than the previous one, it is still not completely safe. Notice that we have explained the writer's choice of language and its effect instead of simply defining the word. Now let's continue with question 2 part C. This question asks, what 2 impressions does the writer want to convey to the reader in the sentence? There was foliage everywhere above, below, and on all sides, layer upon layer of leaves, like tents within tents. The words 2 impressions are extremely important because they tell you exactly how many ideas you need to write. Go back to the passage, read the whole sentence carefully, and imagine the picture the writer is creating in your mind. Think about what the reader is expected to visualize. Since the question is worth 2 marks, write 2 separate ideas. Keep your answers concise and write them within the space provided. The answer is, the writer creates the impression that Mo is completely surrounded by leaves and greenery. The writer also suggests that the layers of leaves are thick and difficult to move through. Each impression earns 1 mark, so always make sure both ideas are included. Next comes question 2 part D. This question says, read this sentence from the text. Climbing upwards slowly and steadily through the labyrinth, Mo lost sight of the ground. What effect does the writer suggest about the tree by using the word labyrinth to describe it? Again, the examiner has highlighted one specific word, so your attention should immediately go to that word. Do not write the dictionary definition of labyrinth. Instead, think about what the word suggests in the context of the passage. Ask yourself why the writer chose this word and what picture it creates in the reader's mind. Since this question is worth 2 marks, you need to explain 2 effects. Before writing, return to the relevant line in the passage and read the sentence carefully so you understand the context. The answer is, the word labyrinth suggests that the tree has a complicated, maze-like structure. It also creates the impression that it would be easy to become confused or lost while climbing through it. Notice how the answer explains both the meaning of the word in context and the effect it creates. Finally, let's look at question 2 part E. This question asks, identify one example from the text below of how the writer uses language effectively to convey Mo's feelings after Mo has lost sight of the ground. Explain the impression the writer creates in the example you have identified. This is slightly different from the previous questions because now you have to choose your own example from the given extract before explaining it. Read the entire extract carefully and decide which phrase best shows Mo's feelings. Then write that example exactly as it appears in the passage before explaining it. Never stop after writing the quotation because that alone will not earn full marks. The explanation is where most of the marks are awarded. Remember to keep your writing neat and stay within the answer lines. One suitable example is, it felt as if he was passing through a membrane and entering another world. The explanation is, the phrase suggests that Mo feels as though he has entered a completely different and magical place. It creates the image of crossing into an unknown world and makes the reader share his amazement and sense of discovery. As you can see, writer's language questions are not asking you to retell the events of the story. They are asking you to explain why the writer has chosen particular words and what effects those words create on the reader. Always go back to the passage, read the relevant lines carefully, pay attention to the command words, and make sure the number of points you write matches the number of marks available. Keep your answers clear, precise, and neatly written within the answer lines. If you follow this method in every writer's language question, you'll have an excellent chance of scoring full marks in question 2. This completes our Section A's practice for full 25 marks. You now know how to approach both the comprehension questions and the writer's language and effects questions, as well as how to answer them in the way Cambridge expects. This completes our Section A's practice for full 25 marks. You now know how to approach both the comprehension questions and the writer's language and effects questions, as well as how to answer them in the way Cambridge expects. This completes our guide to attempting Paper 1 Section A effectively.